All right, Andy. What's going on, man?
How you doing, Salman? How's things, bro?
Everything all right?
Yeah, good, bro. You?
That's what's up, man. How you doing?
Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, very
That's
good, bro. Very good, very good.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, you too, you too. We've been going back and forth for quite a while on IG.
That's right, man. That's right. That's what's up. What's going on, man?
Yeah, all good, all good. Hey, first of all, congratulations on the book.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. So let's jump right into it. So, who is Sulaiman Jenkins? Who's the real Sulaiman Jenkins?
Who's the real Sulaiman Jenkins? That's a big question, man. He's a lot of people. You know, I grew up in BK, you know, and it's you know, it's a real tough upbringing, you know, but I was fortunate to you know, to escape and go to some pretty prestigious schools and learn, you know, academic tools, man. So, you know, I could say I've been from the lowest to the low and the highest to the high, man. You know, so you know, it's been an interesting ride to sort of just go through life and have so many different experiences, you know, but it all makes you good at the end of the day, man. You know.
Of course. Built you up to who you are today.
Exactly.
Of course. So what inspired you to be a writer?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Sorry. What inspired you to be a writer?
You know, it's a lot of things, man. Like I said, man, you know, I'm kind of a nerd in some ways, a nerd from the hood. You know what I mean? So I love to read, you know, and I love to write. You know, so you know, really all my upbringing, academically, educationally, that's all we did was learn to write. You know, and you know, for me, it's really therapeutic. You know, I'm an academic. I'm a professor of English. You know, so I teach English, and one of the things I do, I teach English at a university here in Saudi. So that's the main thing I do is teach, you know, students how to write. But me myself, you know, it's an outlet for me. You know, it's an outlet to you know, to express yourself.
Of course.
You know. Yep.
Cool stuff. So expand on that with the education. You just mentioned about the Saudi Arabia. You're teaching in Saudi Arabia now. Did you obviously started off back at home in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I mean that's a long story too because you know I didn't expect that I would be over here. You know, I was set up to work on Wall Street and you know, make big cash that way, but you know, life took its own course, and I kind of found myself spiritually, you know, at a critical age when I was around 20. So I just dropped everything, man. I just left everything and closed the door. And Wall Street had an offer and everything. I was like, nah, you know, it's not my life. At that time I was like, I'm not going to sell my soul just yet, you know. So
I'm with you.
so I had to so I had to figure things out. And one of the things, you know, I became spiritual after I became religious at the time. And then you know, one of the things I wanted to do was come to Saudi. And one of the opportunities that presented itself was to teach English. So I said, you know, why not teach English?
Of course.
You know, see the world, you know, and come out here. And it was cool, man. I've been here 16 years. I came here in 2004. I've been here ever since.
Wow.
You know, it's different. You know, it's real different than the States, but there's a lot. You know, there's a lot of good here. And there's a lot of things that you can find here that you find in the States. So a lot of it's not really different. You know what I mean? But there is a difference in just being so far away from the familiar, you know.
Of course.
But yeah, man, it's been interesting.
What's the differences in the education systems from back home in America to the ones in Saudi Arabia?
I mean, you know, one thing here, there's a focus on memorization. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of focus on, you know, memorization, whereas back in the States, it's really focused on you know, thinking things through, you know, strategic, you know, approaches to things. It's not to say that these people can't, you know, they do, but it's just a different approach. You know, a lot of education is memorized, you know, so that's a huge difference in education system. And then even like with this online stuff, you this is one of the countries that it's just now becoming. It's sort of lagged from the online education has been, has lagged a little bit. So it's just different, man. It's different approaches, different approaches.
Yeah, of course, of course. I've just seen Mutar's comment there, something about my accent.
Yeah.
Funny accent.
Yeah. You from the UK? Which part?
Yeah,
Which part?
United Kingdom. It's a place called Warrington. It's between Manchester and Liverpool, two big cities. So it's quite up north. It's not down south where London is. It's up north of England. Pretty cold where I live.
I like the British. I like the accent.
That's
so good. I got a lot of British. I got a lot of British colleagues. Yeah, they're cool, man.
Oh yeah, cool. It's cold where I live. It's too cold.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's all good.
Yeah. So yeah, talking about Mutar, the book. Wow, what a prospect the book is. Tell us about how the book came about, how the project came about.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's one of the things too. Is I never, I mentioned in a few other podcasts how we came together. It's funny enough. When I was younger, I was a huge Tupac fan. Huge, and all my homies back in Brooklyn. A lot of people don't know that. Even though we were from Brooklyn, there was the height of the East Coast West Coast beef. That there was a lot of love for Pac on the East Coast. And a lot of my friends, they have bald heads and they had the Outlaw tattoo. And I keep telling Mutar, man, it's hilarious, man. Literally 2 weeks. I was 2 weeks away from getting the Outlaw tattoo on my left arm. You know what I mean? That's how serious it was, So I was riding with the Outlaws and Pac and things like that. And I didn't meet Mutar until I came here to Saudi. We met through a mutual friend. And, he's cool, man. He's, just a down-to-earth brother, mashallah. We just, over time we became, just closer friends, business partners and things like that. And then, he had his documentary last year, which was done very well. Produced very well. And people was commenting about, why don't you have a book, that comes out? And I was like, me being an author, I've written a number of articles before. So why don't we check it out? So we liked the idea. We talked about it. As a matter of fact, we had gone to go see Badu Jack out in Dubai, and on the flight there, we just sort of sat together on the plane. It was just, going through the idea of a book. What are the themes we want to talk about? And for him, I know, it's not easy to talk about, your life when you have a lot of things that, it's sort of difficult to deal with. But, he's like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. Somebody had tried to do it before, and, wasn't up to the standards that we wanted. So, we talked about it, and that was it, man. We shoved up the first chapter. He loved it. You know what I mean? We sent it to a few people. They were like, mashallah, this is serious. And that was it, man. And the rest is history.
Of course. Now, fast forward, rewind just a few weeks ago. You was just about to drop it. It's coming out on Amazon?
Yeah, we were just about to do it ourselves, man. Not for nothing, but I guess, Mutar, I guess there's no problem, to mention. We actually had the book. It was with Kaepernick Publishing. It was with them for some time. And, the publishing company isn't really established yet, so we kind of got like an inside scoop. But, so many things happened. COVID-19 happened, George Floyd and things like that. So they were very interested, but they just got caught up with so many different things that, publishing wasn't a priority. So we were like, dude, we waited all this time. People are very interested in the book. We need to drop it. So we said, let's go ahead and do it ourselves. In the age of entrepreneurship, technology, we could just do it ourselves, So that's when we made the announcement that we're just going to do it ourselves. But then, at the last minute, someone who was interested, who had been interested before, a professor, his name is Professor Awad Ibrahim. He's like a big time hip hop professor. You know what I mean? There's not many in the world, and he's one of like the top ones. And when I've mentioned the idea to him before, he was like, wow, that's serious. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you a contract right now. And that was like a long time ago, but we were like, just hold off, let's try to see, but he ended up being the one that we went with. So, went back to him, he was like, yeah, he hooked it up right away. You know what I mean? So now, everything is all set, within I could say, you know, within a few weeks, it's going to drop for sure, you know, so we're very excited about that.
That's amazing news. That's awesome news. Yeah, yeah. So when you drop it, what platforms is it going to be on? Is it going to be on certain platforms? And
yeah, I mean, it's available now with on their website for pre-orders, but we need to have, like, you know, more details before we sort of, you know, go public with that. But yeah, it'll be available on Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. You know, me and Moo, we did the audio book, so that's also, we're in the process of getting that mastered. You know, we dropped a little snippet from that. You know, so we think that that's going to be a whole different, you know, that's going to be a whole different experience. You know, listening to the book and reading is two different experiences. His voice, my voice, you know, the animation and things like that. I think it's gonna be lit. Yeah, the audio book and the ebook, everything will be available within the next few weeks. Yep.
Oh, great stuff, great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Touching on the audio book, we have seen the snippets, and it's whetting everyone's appetite. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
How was it? We've seen you in the studio with Guitar.
Yeah.
What was the experience like?
Dude, I had never experienced anything like that before, man. You know, he's obviously, he's been in the studio with Pac and things like that, so he knows, you know, he knows what it's like. But I've never talked that much. You know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I'm a kind of reserved kind of dude. You know, I don't talk that much. You know, so we record about 10 hours of work, man. You know, I came for 1 weekend. We thought I was gonna get it done in 1 weekend. I had to come back. But it was cool, man. You know, it was cool again to go back through the book. You know, you know, we just realized, you know, the project is really, it's just really tremendous. You know, we really hope that we see the work that we put into it. And again, like I said, you know, the audio version is going to be very different it's a different experience from, you know, reading. And someone slid into my DMs and he was like, "Look, dude, I wasn't even planning on buying an audio book, but from that snippet that we heard, I'm gonna get both." You know what I mean? So we really hope that, you know, people enjoy the experience.
Of course.
But
so
you mentioned
well, 10 hours. When you mentioned 10 hours, is 10 hours straight? Was it in the studio?
No. So it's 10 hours of recording that was recorded, but we was probably in the studio for about 20 hours. Yeah, 16, 20 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It was no joke, man.
It's exhausting.
It was no joke. Yeah, it's very exhausting. But, you know, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Of course.
Yeah, I know Moo said that was...
Go ahead.
I know Moo said basically when he was working with Pac, it was tiring. He said that this is nothing like working with Pac. This is a whole different level of tiredness.
Oh,
yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
When you mentioned the pre-orders, where the people who wanted to pre-order the book, do they have to take special measures, special steps to pre-order, or? Breaking up a bit. Can you hear me, Sulaiman? Yeah, I'm here.
That's what's up.
Bad weather outside, you see. It's really, in England, we have really bad weather. It's lashing it down outside, so really bad. I think it's affecting the signals of some kind of way. Yeah, so the question was about the pre-orders.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that before we announced it that we wanted to make sure that the information is you know is thorough. So we're just gonna hold off. Maybe, you know, have to talk to the publisher. They have different places where they distribute. You know, they distribute in the States. They distribute in the UK. Actually, they distribute in, I think, somewhere in Asia, like Australia, something like that. So we just want to hold off, and then, you know, once the pre-orders are, once we have once the picture is clear, we'll announce it.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, man.
So, with this project, maybe looking into the future, have you got a project planned? Any project planned for after this?
Yeah, there's tons, man. You know, I didn't realize how enjoyable this would be. You know, and then I think a lot of it is obviously working with somebody like Moo. You know, we're real close. You know what I mean? He's real easy to work with. You know, he himself, he was saying, I don't know why you're asking me all these questions. You know, he was saying to himself in the beginning, he was like, why is this dude asking these kind of questions? Not from the standpoint of, we're not cool, but he's like, these kind of questions are kind of probing. But for me as an author, it's like if you want to write something that's really of substance and really gets to the core of who this man is, I have to ask you have to ask these kind of questions, very deeply personal things like that. And by the end, like he said, it was very therapeutic for him, to get these sort of things off his chest. If I can find people who are enthusiastic about their story, they have compelling stories. Sure. Like I think BG Knockout, he's got an amazing story as well, and he's reached out as well. We might collaborate on something, in the future. I hope that the success of this book, the reviews we've gotten so far have been just, mashallah, amazing. So we hope that, with the success of this book, hopefully that'll catch the eyes of, other people and, anybody basically has a compelling story. Because I can't just write about anybody. There are people that have approached me as well, and I can't just write. It's not that easy to just write a book. People, it might seem like it's easy. It's not. It's just really not. But if the person presents a story and it's compelling, and it's something that I'm feeling, then yes, So BG Knockout might be one. Whoever approaches, afterwards, we'll see. My own story, I have a lot of things I have to share. A lot of people don't know how I got to the position that I did, and they'd be sort of interested how does a man from, was born in Brooklyn as a black, American, how did he, ascend in the ranks, to get to the position that I'm at. And it wasn't easy, but I'm here, so that would be something I think a lot of people would be able to benefit from. And we'll see, man. We'll see what the future holds. There's also, I'm also a professor, so and I teach English, and we have a lot of issues with discrimination and racism. And that's a very serious thing to deal with. So that's also a project that I would be interested in doing, but that's more like academic. It's not really like And academic writing is like really boring and stiff. I don't that's a different type. This one right here with Muta it was really. And I had to go way back in high school days of learning creative writing and stuff like that. It was really an amazing process, man.
Yes, of course. I just caught one of Muta's comments there down at the bottom here. It's just he just said basically that you asked him some really deep questions that he tried to keep to himself, but you actually brought it out.
Yeah. I mean, these things are it's when you're telling your life story, you got to be real, and the thing I love about Mutal is that he doesn't shy away from reality. It is what it is, and that's just part of coming from the hood, being from Brooklyn, you might have a dude who's a drug dealer, but he'll tell you straight up, dude, I know this ain't right. I know this ain't right, but how am I going to feed my kids? So he's real. He's dealing with reality. Reality is reality. So with Mutal, part of him writing the book is that he would have to face these very difficult things. And as he mentioned, there were some things that he had stored away for so long. And I guess the book was the opportunity to sort of bring those things out. And, he said he felt much better. He felt much better after, so I'm glad that he feels relieved. And I'm sure that people who might be in the same position that he was, once they read the book, they'll also be relieved and they'll find that there are, different directions that they can take their life.
Of course. One of the questions that I've just been sent to was people have been asking about refunds from the previous, the Amazon, what you was going to be releasing on the Amazon. Then people who pre-ordered, will they get refunds too?
The people who pre-ordered, they should have gotten their refunds already. So the people who pre-ordered, they should have received the therapist Sulaiman. Yeah, they should have gotten their refunds already. And then furthermore, those people who pre-ordered, let them please, and and we'll send we'll repost this message. Basically, send us an email to the email address listed in the post with a snapshot, a screenshot of your pre-order receipt, so that we can give you a 20% discount on further orders. You know, we really appreciated the people's willingness and enthusiasm. You know, so we wanted to, and it was, you know, it was disappointing for us to have to cancel it, but we were happy that it was being picked up. So we wanted to sort of reward those people, and that's what we'll do. So if you did pre-order, you should have received the refund. If you haven't, let us know that too.
Of course, of course. Before I let you get going, what's your top 3 songs? I know you're a big Tupac fan. Which top 3 songs?
Which top 3 songs? From
songs.
Man, there's a lot, man. I mean, I don't really listen that long, but there's a lot. And is you know, the thing about Tupac, man, he has so many different moods. You know, so if I'm in a thugging mood, you know, and I'm just not dealing with anybody, it's probably All Out. You know, All Out with Pac and Outlaws. If I'm feeling sort of sentimental, you know, about just growing up and having to deal with struggles, probably White Man's World. And what else? I guess I got to throw Dear Mama up in there too. You know, you got to throw one out for the mama.
Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I had to do it. Weather's playing up again. Can you hear me? Are you still there? The great British weather, it's pounded it down outside. Are you back? Great stuff, good stuff. What about top Napoleon song? Sorry, bro. It's the weather outside. It's playing havoc with the signal. What's your top Napoleon song?
What's my top Napoleon song? You mean by himself?
By himself.
I can't. You know, I stopped listening, man. When I was, I stopped. I became like, you know, spiritual religious in 2002, and I think he was still with the Outlaws. He hadn't gone solo yet. So I don't know any what you call it, but yeah, I mean the songs that I remember the most, yeah, definitely. What else? Made Heroes. Yeah, I mean there's tons, man. You know, not for nothing too, man. You know, of the Outlaws, Napoleon was my favorite. You know, him and Gaddafi. You know, they were amongst my favorites. So you got to imagine, man, growing up listening to these dudes, and then, you know, now I meet him, and then we become homies. It's just unbelievable.
Of course. Exactly. And what you've just mentioned about maybe doing your story, I think that's a fantastic idea, because you've come from Brooklyn, and where you are now. That's an amazing story, and it's a story of success.
Yes, it's I mean, I'm not gonna say myself it's amazing, but it definitely was challenging, and that's the other thing about the book, man. You know, and I think it's really gonna be this type of book has ever been done. So, you know, generally when you have, as Mutaz mentioned a number of times, generally when you have street dudes, because I'm street, I'm from Brooklyn. You know, don't let anything fool you. I'm from Brooklyn. You know, but I've been fortunate to have, you know, gotten out, you know, and you know, go to good schools. The thing about this book is that when you have stories like this, you either have somebody who's street and he can't convey the message in a way that is going to reach the general masses, right? Or you have somebody who's really intellectual, but he's never lived in the hood. He just lived in, in suburbs, whatever, and he's, he identifies with being in the hood, but he's never been there. So it's very rare to find somebody who's been in the gutter with these people, living in this environment, but then also to be, sitting down and studying, at the highest levels, to an audience where, honestly, this book, I wrote it with the intention that this book could be taught at a college or university anywhere in the world. That's the type of, vigor that I put in it. The book it has 150 different references, 150 different sources, places where I took information from. There are 260 different points, reference points throughout the book, so that basically people can't say this is just Muhtar's voice. No, if you want to check the New Yorker, you can check the New York Times, you can check Time Magazine, you can check, this first-hand account, so again, I don't think any type of story has been presented in this way. So I think it's really going to be novel. It's really going to be, it's really going to be a new, something new and fresh. And I think it's going to be hopefully welcome.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Talking from myself, I'm Tupac fans, Outlaw fans, fans of Napoleon, thugs, people in universities. From what you've told me, from what you've put out there, it's going to be a real good read, and of course the audio book as well. It's going to be a real good listen.
We hope, man. We hope. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far. We'll probably after this I can send you some advanced copy as a special gift from us. So you can go ahead and dive in, man, and just check it out for yourself.
Oh wow, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And hey, thanks for appearing on the Heart of an Outlaw show.
I think you're doing Muhtar, right? And next Wednesday.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, of course. Fingers crossed.
Okay, cool.
Fingers crossed. The weather holds up.
Yeah. It's all good, man.
Awful today.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's a pleasure to meet you, man.
You too, bro. You too. You take care.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
No doubt, man. Appreciate it, man. Stay up.
Peace. Take care.
Peace, man. Peace.